Hello and welcome back to another episode which is really hot and sticky here in the UK again of this week's drop. We have 10 watches on the table today. It was 12. Just like last week, a few have sold before they could make it to the website, and those were a really awesome Clements. This was the Munro British Watchmakers edition, where they only made 4 total in 2 colorways. So this is actually one of 2 ever made. Number 000 on the back, and a gorgeous Christopher Ward C5 Malvern 595, one of the thinnest Christopher Wards they've ever made. Now, as always, both of those watches are still linked in the description. You can still go see all the photos, all the write-ups, everything like that. It's just they're obviously not able to purchase. And if you're here just to see a specific watch on the table, let's say the Tudor P1, you can head down in the description. There's timestamp next to every single watch. You can skip straight to that, skip all my rambling, and get on with what you want to see, as well as obviously links to the website, photos, prices, all of that good stuff. Now, just a quick update. I'm recording this on Wednesday, the 7th of August, and as of Monday, my wife has actually been in hospital she's been in slow labor this entire time, but active labor, I guess you'd call it, with contractions and everything like that. She's been in since Monday. We're hoping she's going to be released today. Our son hasn't been born, and there's been no progression. Her body's just being very cruel to her at the moment, but she's coping incredibly well. So I'm in the office quickly today to process a few things, ship out orders, keep on top of everything, so that way business is going as normal, whilst obviously being as present as possible for my wife, for my daughter, and for my son that's going to be born, hopefully on the due date or when our induction is booked, which is the 23rd of August. So I'm doing everything I can to get everything ready for that, which is when I'm going to have a bit of time off. But hopefully, if all goes to plan, there will still be drops, there will still be watches going up, there'll still be shipments going out. Everything will continue as normal. It's just obviously in the short term, when there's all the unpredictable moments like there has been the past couple of days, it just throws a lot of spanners in the works. So we're working around and we're keeping things going, whilst obviously I'm prioritizing my family, which will come as hopefully no surprise to anyone watching. And as always, if you want to keep up to date with what's going on, please keep an eye on Instagram. That is the best place to do it. Even if you don't have an Instagram account, I believe you can see posts. And at the top of the website, there's a banner that will always have the most up-to-date information. So if you click on that, it will take you to the most recent update post on Instagram, which is explaining the whole situation. I will do my best to keep those as regular as possible, so you're aware of what's going on, you're aware of any delays to shipping and those kind of things. But as it stands, basically, I'm updating you guys. If you order a watch, I'm letting you know when it should be shipped and if it can't be shipped on that day, basically. So now that all of that is out of the way, what's on wrist? I'm actually wearing a really awesome watch that I've had in the collection for quite a while now. This is my Christopher Ward. I believe this is Trident 316L limited edition in yellow. I apologize if that's not exactly what it is. It's a manually wound watch, really, really awesome. And I bought this and wore it when my daughter was born, actually. So this was the watch on wrist while she was born. So therefore I'm wearing it again in case my son is born. I've got this one on wrist for when they're both born. I think that's kind of a nice thing to have. So obviously this isn't one for sale, and it's one that I hope to never have to put up for sale. And one day will be one of my children's watches. They can fight between them of whose it's going to be. So let's crack on with what you're here to see, and that's the watches on the table. I apologize if it's a bit of a quicker episode. Going to do my usual bit, but I might just talk a bit faster, so slow it down if you need to. But we're going to start with this awesome Amiga Constellation Globemaster, arguably one of the most underrated watches from the Amiga lineup, in my opinion. Let's take a closer look. Starting this week off with the absolutely awesome, in my opinion anyway, Amiga Globemaster. This is the white dial with that really attractive white pipe hand dial, as you can see. This is definitely a vintage Amiga Constellation inspiration, and it's sort of the modern equivalent. Pipe hand, fluted bezel, which the originals were white gold. This is actually tungsten, which is really interesting. And it has the black surround on the indices and hands, which sort of contrast absolutely beautifully. Date down at 6 o'clock, crown over at 3 o'clock, and a very nice simple case finishing, as you can see, with a nice polished bevel right there. I won't bore you with the reference to this one because it's quite a long reference, but it does compare on its original bracelet, as you can see. Push button clasp, which opens up like so one side, and then you have to pull the other side, and a exhibition case back with the Constellation observatory right there, as you can see, very much like the old Constellations in a bygone era. That movement right there is an Amiga coaxial automatic caliber 8900, and you pull the crown out all the way to obviously set the time as usual. And to change the date, this is the model that has the quick moving hand basically, so you go round as much as you need to change the date backwards or forwards, which is really nice and handy. This one does come with this box, but no original paperwork unfortunately. It's from circa 2015 to 2017. Obviously backed with our warranty as always, and it's been worn, but it's not been overworn. It has been polished in its past, so we can always polish it again on request for you, but I really don't think it needs it personally. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. I just love how this one wears and looks on the wrist. It really does feel like a bigger modern Constellation from the vintage range. So this is 39mm by 46.5mm lug to lug, 12.5mm on the thickness, and 20mm on the lug, so endless options for this one. So go check it out on the website today. From there over to a watch that we've all been waiting for, and finally Seiko have done it. This is the 1965 Divers Recreation 62 MAS limited edition. It's the most true to the original 62 MAS they have ever made in my opinion. So let's take a closer look. Now on to what I think is the best Seiko 62 MAS re-edition that they have done to date, and they've definitely gone through many iterations until we've got here. And I feel like Seiko often do that on purpose. They could have made this one in the first place, which is, I would say, almost a one-to-one of the original 62 MAS, but instead they did bigger ones, different colours, different styles, and I guess it's just clever sales really, you know, make something kind of like it and then people buy it and then eventually release the one they really want, and then often people sell the other one and still buy the new one, so they get even more sales when you look at it that way, I guess. But this is the reference SJE093 and it's limited to 1,965 pieces. Obviously 1965 being the release of the original 62 MAS that this is inspired by. Really beautiful grey dial, big block indices, luminous hands, date at 3 o'clock, and this has a ceramic bezel. Nice stainless steel case with all of the finishing you come to expect. Very much on par with the Grand Seiko, I would say. Seiko signed screw down crown, and as we flip it over you're presented with a very attractive case back, etched as the originals pretty much were. Limited edition number stated right there. This watch has been worn, but it's pretty damn good. I mean, there's not really any signs of wear, and it wasn't worn on its original Tropic rubber strap. Inside is the automatic Seiko caliber 6L37, so definitely a step up from the standard range. And this one's from April 2024 with its full box and paperwork. Ready to be purchased and enjoyed, and we're asking an incredibly fair price for this compared to what a lot of places are. So I would highly recommend snapping this one up whilst you can. So let's show it against my wrist and talk dimension. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. If I was going to buy a 62 MAS re-edition, I would put the extra money and totally go for this one because it is the best by far. This is 38mm by 46mm lug to lug, 12.5mm on the thickness and 19mm on the lug, so a little awkward but plenty of options out there, and I would be wearing it on this Tropic myself, so go check it out on the website today. From there to a really awesome Grand Seiko. This is the Blue Dial Quartz SBGN 005G. Let's take a closer look at that one. Now for the Grand Seiko Quartz GMT, and this is the SBGN 005G, which is that gorgeous metallic electric blue dial, as you can see, which sort of plays with the light and really is dynamic and contrasts beautifully against that red GMT hand, and GMT stated at 6 o'clock in red as well. Super simple dial layout with Grand Seiko at the top and the GMT at the bottom, date over at 3 o'clock. Really clean and simple, I would say. Of course, you've got the Grand Seiko finishing we've all come to love and expect, with the Zaratsu finishing on the inside, which just begs to be looked at up close. And this has the, I would call it the Explorer style fixed bezel in stainless steel with black inlay for the numerals, and you have the very nice curved end case right there with high polish and brushed finishing, drilled lug holes as well for the strap. Signed screw down crown at 3 o'clock right there, and it comes on a Oyster 3-link bracelet with a push button folding clasp, as you can see. Nice signed screw down case back as well. And inside is the quartz, Grand Seiko quartz caliber 9F86, obviously part of the infamous 9F family, which everyone knows and loves. And this one's from circa 2021 with its box, paperwork, spare links and everything. The paperwork is unsigned, which isn't uncommon, as we've discussed many times in these videos. Unfortunately, it's down to the retailer, whoever sold the watch, to be bothered to actually fill in the information. Some of the best retailers in the world, we have had watches that were purchased from them, we've got receipts and things to show, and they've not filled out the information because they just can't be bothered, they're too busy, they don't realize it's a new member of staff. It could be a million possibilities, so it happens, unfortunately. But either way, it doesn't matter because this is past the age of warranty and it's backed by our warranty, and it's had a battery change as well. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. The size proportions of this one are absolutely perfect. 39mm by 44.5mm lug to lug, only 11.5mm on the thickness and 19mm on the lug, so a little awkward, but there are strap options out there that would fit and look wonderful on this watch, so go check it out on the website today. From there over to a DOA Sub 600T 40mm with the orange dial. This is a 2024 watch, still under manufacturer warranty and been worn a handful of times, so let's take a closer look at this one. Now onto an awesome DOA 600T, and this is in the Sub 600T, obviously in the classic vibrant orange. Now DOA are one of those brands that can still be picked up, in my opinion, for very fair prices, and obviously they're a brand with real history as a tool watch, as a dive watch, and arguably their watches are still very much built in that way today, such as this one with, as you can see, it's sort of solid case construction, really nice overall design, and a true tool that you could actually go diving with if you so wish. Now often people dive today with dive computers. Every now and again I know customers who actually do dive with just the watch, or both dive computer and watch, which is probably the safest thing to do, but it's nice to know this can still be used as such. And often the way I look at dive watches, I don't dive, I don't really go near water other than when I shower. So for me it's more of a reassurance. I know this watch is built for diving and for going deep in the ocean, therefore I know it can sustain my daily life with a 2-year-old who's going to absolutely pretty much throw food on me and all kinds of crazy stuff. You can just rinse this off under the tap and you're all good. That's kind of how I look at dive watches, so that's just my 2 pence. But anyway, I won't bore you with the reference to this one, super long. You can go see it on the website. It comes on its original bracelet with all of its links included. DOA signed folding clasp, as you can see. You got to lift it up, nice tight clasp. And then you've got dive extension tucked away under there to go over a wetsuit. Signed screw down case back, as you'd expect as well. And inside is a automatic Salita, which is the SW200, and this watch is from April 2024 with its full box and paperwork, still backed by its manufacturer warranty. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Really comfortable watch, really good looking, obviously on the larger side, but it is a diver, so I come to expect those kind of things. This is 40mm by 47.5mm lug to lug, 14mm on the thickness and 20mm at the lug, so endless options, but the bracelet really does the trick on this one, so go check it out on the website today. Now on to a like new Satina DS Super PH100M automatic orange dial limited edition. A really awesome watch, obviously on the bigger side, but when you see it on wrist it actually wears really well, and this is like new. It's probably been, if it's been worn, it's been tried on. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now for an absolutely awesome offering from Satina, this is the Satina automatic DS Super PH1000M limited edition. That is a mouthful, but this is based on a vintage watch in Satina's sort of archive and history. It's really great to see Satina actually sort of tailoring almost to the collecting community by offering things like this that aren't typically the best in terms of retailing. So putting these in the shops, they don't always do that well, and that comes from experience working at retail. People often want sort of more simple designs, things that are quite straightforward. Something like this is a bit more specialized, so they're making it for collectors, and I think it's great to see that kind of stuff coming back. You have an almost concave slight bezel right there, which is absolutely gorgeous. Vibrant orange dial with an even more vibrant orange minute hand. date over there. And very interestingly, a helium escape valve on the side of the case. So this is a true dive watch that you can do saturation diving with. Solid screw down crown at 3 o'clock as you'd expect, and as always I won't bore you with the reference, super long reference. It comes on its very nice rubber strap with a solid piece of hardware, as well as a rubber extension in the box before going over a wetsuit. As we flip over, you'll see the sticker still present, the gorgeous turtle right there, again sort of harping back to the older days of Satina. This is iconic for anyone who collects vintage Satina. Limited to 1,000 total, and inside an automatic Powermatic caliber 80.611, which is an 80-hour power reserve movement used by the Swatch Group and modified slightly for the different brands. And this one, as you can see from the condition, has maybe been worn once or twice. I don't even think it's been worn at all, to be honest with you. So I'm calling it like new condition, and I think that's very fair. And it comes from February 2024 with its full box and paperwork, so you can get yourself a nice saving on retail, pick up the watch pretty much like new, everything with it, and the manufacturer warranty. So let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. So as I said, quite a large watch, but it wears really well, and that's thanks to the case proportions. So this is 43.5mm by only 47.5mm lug to lug. So definitely a more cushion case design, very much like Seiko Turtles and any watches like that if you've had the chance to try them on. 14mm on the thickness and 20mm at the lug, so endless options, but this strap pairing really does work for the watch. So go check it out on the website today. Now on to 3 Tudors in this week's drop. We finally have a P1. I have been holding off for the prices, in my opinion, to become reasonable and also to get a good one, and finally that has happened. So let's take a closer look and see what you all think of this crazy watch. Now on to the Tudor P1. As I say, this is surprisingly the first one I have ever stocked. It's not the first I've seen many of them and even sourced one for a person, but this is the first I've actually stocked on the website. So this is the reference 70150, and it's considered by some to be the most hideous watch Tudor have ever made, by some as the most intriguing watch, and others absolutely love it. It's what we would call a Marmite watch here in the UK. You either love it or you hate it. I actually really like it. I think it's really cool, and it's grown on me the more I've worn it because it is surprisingly wearable. Now you can see the case shape is quite unusual for Tudor, crown at 4 o'clock. These crazy hooded lugs which sit on the bezel, and that's for a reason. We'll talk about that in a second, and this attachment to it that actually holds the strap. So the end of the case is actually all the way down here instead of here. So quite an unusual thing, but this is basically based on a prototype that never really made it to production for the military. You can read more about it on our website. Some will say thank God it didn't. I think again it's kind of cool, but basically they've decided to recreate it. No one expected this when it came out. It was a big surprise to everyone. Some people thought it was a bit of a joke, you know, was this really being made? And here we are. You know, I think it's pretty damn cool. Nice black dial, maxi loom plots, snowflake hands as you'd expect, date at 3 o'clock, and this is a locking feature for the bezel. So when this is down, the bit with the arrows basically, it doesn't rotate, and what you do is you push that open like so, and now you can rotate the bezel whichever way you want, and then again you push it down to lock it in place. This is a feature that we've seen across a few brands like Glycine and a couple of others, essentially a locking bezel feature back before they figured out how to make bezels only really turn one way. They were friction fit, so they'd go both ways, and this would allow it to stay down, which is very convenient if you're diving or doing anything timing wise. You need that ability. So quite an interesting little thing, and you can actually have this removed. So I've seen it online. People have you can basically take out the bar that's holding this. It's not a normal spring bar, I believe it's a pressure fit bar, and then you've got just the normal case without these crazy hooded lug bits, and if you want to change the strap, it's a standard spring bar actually at this bit right here. So that's just a standard spring bar to swap out, and you can put whatever strap you want on it as long as it fits. But this bar can also be removed and then a normal strap fitted. I've seen a couple of photos online. I haven't tried it. I don't know how easy it is, so please don't ask me. But anyway, inside is an automatic Tudor MT5612, which is their in-house movement behind that closed case back. You can actually see part of the bar visible in the gap right there. You've got a folding clasp, as you'd expect, and a sort of very nice leather and rubber strap fitted to the watch. This one's from This one's from September 2021 with its box and paperwork, and it's been worn but nothing too major. It's lightly worn, to be honest. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Now do not get me wrong, this is a large watch, it's supposed to be, but it actually wears really well because this part of the lug just comes straight down and hangs off. So it really is like the strap actually starts there, even though you've got this extra bit of metal, but it wears quite well. So dimensions wise, what you're looking at is 42mm by 55mm lug to lug, so very long lug to lug, 14mm on the thickness and 20mm at the lugs here, so you can swap this out for any strap you wish. So go check this one out on the website today. From there over to a Black Bay bronze 43mm. This is the Buckera Blue edition. Really cool piece, so let's take a closer look. Now for the Tudor Black Bay bronze 43mm, and this is the Buckera Blue edition, as you can see. And I have to say there is something incredibly nice about a bronze case, almost gold tone, with this shade of blue. It works beautifully. Tudor chose well, and so did Buckera with their classic blue. This is their shade of blue that they're very famous for, and Buckera is a retailer. They also make watches, and they do a lot of collaborations like this, and I'm really grateful for it, because again, they're very nice. Obviously, this being the 43mm, it is on the larger side, but it still wears quite nicely, and we'll talk more about that when we show it on wrist. But this is the reference 79250BB. Behind this screw down case back, which actually still has the sticker on it, is the automatic Tudor caliber MT5601, which is a no date automatic movement, as you can see. Screw down crown at 3 o'clock, and yeah, nice rotating bezel as you'd expect, which has nice action. Tudor always do a nice bezel in my opinion. And it goes without saying, this is bronze, which will patina, it oxidizes. You can clean it, you can keep on top of it, but do expect the color to change over time as you wear it, especially as you sweat. If you maybe go to the seaside and salt water and things like that, everything will have an effect on this. So if you're not a fan of patina and how bronze ages, do not buy a bronze watch. It's as simple as that. So it's not a gold watch, it's not meant to look gold forever, it will patina. So I just want to make that crystal clear straight off the bat. And I go between phases. I've had bronze watches in the past. Sometimes I want them to stay this bright color, so again, it's not for me. And then other times I absolutely fall in love once they go the really dark brown color, and I think it looks amazing. So definitely have a look online for what bronze can look like, and then you can make that decision for yourself whether that's what you want to get into or not. This one's from September 2018 with its box and paperwork, obviously backed by our warranty. Comes on its very nice fabric NATO strap with bronze hardware, and it comes with a leather Tudor strap with a Tudor buckle in the box as well. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. You can see, as I say, not a small watch, but it still wears surprisingly well. And on the NATO strap especially, I would be very comfortable actually wearing this. So this is 43mm by 52.5mm lug to lug, 14mm on the thickness, not including the fabric strap, which does add a slight bit of thickness, and 23mm on the lugs. So definitely awkward on the lug width, sorry, but you have the nylon strap and you have the leather strap, and I think between the both of those, you're pretty set. So go check it out on the website today. And the final Tudor is a Black Bay 41 steel and gold on the distressed leather strap. We'll take a closer look, but I just want to say this is how the leather's supposed to look. I've sold one in the past, and the person had a little whinge because they said the strap was very worn and I didn't disclose that. That's what it's supposed to look like, it's distressed. So there you go, let's take a closer look at that one. Now on to the Tudor Black Bay 41 steel and gold, which is definitely up there with the most affordable two-tone watches that actually uses solid gold, or real gold, I would say, not gold plating. They use a cap system where it's a thin layer of gold over basically a steel core. So it's far thicker than a plating, which is usually measured in like microns almost, whereas these are done at a far thicker standard, done on millimeters. Hopefully that all makes sense. And again, it's done over a steel core rather than usually a base metal, not always but usually. So that's the reason that the price on this is far more approachable than most two-tone watches. So this is the reference 79733N, and it comes on its original distressed leather strap, which obviously has been worn, but as I said in the intro, these are meant to look like this. They are distressed leather, and I think it's a really, really cool choice against the watch. I think it works really, really well, especially with the heritage design. It makes it kind of have that vintage feel whilst also being a very modern watch. Date over at 3 o'clock, folding clasp as you'd expect, and behind the closed screw down case back is the automatic Tudor caliber MT5612, which is a date automatic movement, as you can see. This one's from February 2017 with its box and paperwork, and the watch definitely has been worn. There are scratches visible, so if you want the case fully refurbished as well as the buckle, let me know. We can get that done at additional cost and time frame to delivery, but as always, these are pre-owned watches. I expect a few scratches, and to be honest, within a couple of weeks of regular wear, you're probably going to put a lot of scratches straight back in. But if you're one of those people who want every scratch to be your scratch, by all means, we can have that done for you. So let me show you this on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, fits the wrist really nicely, obviously on the larger side. This isn't the 58 or the 54, it is a bigger 41mm. So this is 41mm by 50mm lug to lug, 14.5mm on the thickness, and 22mm on the lugs. So go check this one out on the website today. It also comes with an additional strap in the box. Onto a Unimatic I've not had before, and there's very few I've not had at this point. This is the Bate U4 BTS, a really, really cool one with a crosshair dial. I'm a big fan of this one, so let's take a closer look. Now, as I said in the intro to this one, there are a few Unimatics I haven't had the chance to sell yet, and this was one of them. This is the U4-BTS for Unimatic and Bate, as you can see, proudly stated at 6 o'clock with the Bate logo. I believe Bate is like a retailer. Again, more information can be found on our website. And this is a limited edition of just 100 pieces total, which is actually one of the fewer editions they've done, because typically it's 200 plus that the Unimatics are limited to. So a nice limited one here. This one's circa 2022 with its Pelican box and paperwork and spare strap and everything you'd expect. You have a really gorgeous white crosshair dial with Arabic black numerals around the outside, big luminous hands as you'd expect, all black and contrasting nicely with the crosshair through the middle. You've got the bead blasted U4 case, which has a fixed steel bezel, as you can see, and it's a really, really nice configuration in my opinion that works with a lot of different straps and styles. As you can see, this bright blue Unimatic strap really does work with the overall design. As I say, circa 2022, box papers, and this inside is an automatic Seiko caliber NH35A. So yeah, not a huge amount more to say on this one. If you're after a very limited Unimatic, as always, they're all quite limited anyway, but this one only 100 made, and I think it's a very, very attractive design. Definitely snap it up whilst you can. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. Here we go on my 7-inch wrist, really comfortable, especially as a big watch. This is 41mm by 48.5mm lug to lug, only 14mm on the thickness, and 22mm on the lugs with drilled lug holes to make strap changing nice and easy. So go check this one out on the website today. And last but by no means least, I can't get my words out today, I do apologise, probably my favourite in this week's drop and the most affordable at that point as well, is this absolutely gorgeous Nevada automatic Antarctique. This has the penguin on the back, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Original chamfers all throughout, original finish. It's just a really nice example. So let's take a closer look. Now for a really, really attractive, in my opinion anyway, Nevada automatic Antarctique Compensmatic. That's definitely a mouthful. Really, really simple but elegant, in my opinion. Square, cushiony case. And cushiony dial, as you can see, with the edges around there, and that's the original crystal still in there as well. Date over at 3 o'clock, nice block indices with tritium around there, and tritium hands, as well as the applied Nevada logo. Now, I often get asked what are some really great buys in the vintage pre-owned market, and I still say Nevada is definitely one of them, because they can be picked up for such good prices in my opinion, especially for amazing examples, which if this was an Amiga, for example, like a Constellation in this kind of condition, unpolished and this good, it'd be a hell of a lot more money obviously. You have the original Nevada crown right there at 3 o'clock, really nice to use, and solid screw down case which is actually screwed through the sides, as you can see right there on each corner, screwing it in. So a very interesting design layout where it comes out as a pod and then has to be removed obviously by a watchmaker. So this is a reference 67012 and inside is an automatic ETA caliber 2472 from circa late 1960s. And most importantly, in my opinion, you have that very awesome penguin case back. Now this is the Compensa-matic, which is what they've called it, which is their version of a waterproof case. Obviously it's not waterproof, especially nowadays being so old, but it's very interesting. These are the kind of things they were playing around with to make watches more tight and sealed back in the day. Paired it on a nice brown leather strap, but of course straps are the easiest things to swap out and enjoy. But yeah, let's show it on my wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. That looks absolutely incredible. In my opinion anyway. This is 31mm by 39mm lug to lug, only 11mm on the thickness, bearing in mind a nice chunk of that thickness is that raised acrylic crystal, and 19mm on the lug, so a little awkward, but there are definitely options out there. So go check out this unpolished gem on the website today. So there you have it, guys and girls, this week's drop, 10 incredible watches. My personal favorite I would say is the Nevada. Let me know down in the comments what's yours. Obviously I really love this this Seiko. I think they've done a brilliant job. The Amiga is obviously just a great watch. They're all great. I can, as always, every single week I have a merit and pro for every single watch I sell. That's why I've got them. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what's your favorite. And as always, we'll see you next week. Hopefully I'll be able to do a video. It depends on what happens, but the drops will continue as normal. I'll do a little announcement thing if I can't do a video, and then obviously do it with whatever's left once I get back if I have time, and we'll sort of go from there. So hopefully that explains anything. Any questions, shoot me an email, info@kibblewatches.co.uk. I don't always see the comments. I usually see them. I don't always reply, so I apologize. Someone said in a previous one about the camera not being the best in terms of focusing. I think that was me. So last episode I actually tried to stay more still, and I'll do the same this episode, so hopefully that works. But believe me, I'll read the comments, I'll take on your suggestions, so please continue leaving them. And I'll see you again next week. Take care. Bye-bye.